Hi Top Driver, this is Alberto Di Teresa and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're diving into camera and field of view settings, areas that are often overlooked yet absolutely essential if you want to maximize your performance behind the wheel. When dialed in properly, these settings can dramatically improve your perception of speed and depth. Two key elements for nailing fast lap times and, more importantly, staying consistent. Let's kick things off with a quick tutorial on how to fine-tune your camera settings the right way. Step 1. Jump into any session on track. It could be anything, even a simple time trial session will do. In my case, I'm heading straight into time trial so I can show you the camera customization options in real time. From this menu, you can tweak every aspect of your view. What you're seeing on my screen right now is my personal go-to setup, but keep in mind, this is a totally subjective choice. I prefer a side-on TV camera angle that I then recenter to align the steering wheel perfectly in the middle of the screen. I raise the view slightly so I can see more of the car's nose. That helps me better judge the track layout, gauge distances, and develop a sharper sense of speed. These are the settings I personally use. Feel free to copy them and test them out to see if they fit your driving style. Let's now clarify the difference between global settings and car-specific settings. Global settings allow you to keep your camera parameters consistent when switching between cars. So for instance, even though we're in the McLaren right now, if you switch to the Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, or Haas, the settings will stay more or less the same. I say more or less because there are still some slight variations. We haven't shown every single car, but even with these examples, you'll notice some key differences. In the McLaren, for instance, only the upper half of the steering wheel is visible, while in the Haas, the entire wheel is in frame. That's where car-specific adjustments come in handy. You can fine-tune distance settings slightly to improve visual comfort. Now, if you're racing in online championships, chances are you'll be using a single car throughout the entire tournament, either picked or assigned at the start. In that case, you'll only need to tweak your setup once, specifically for that car. However, if you find yourself switching cars for different events or series, don't forget to adjust your view for the new machine too. Let's move on to another critical element, field of view, or FOV. As you can see, tweaking the FOV completely changes how much information you pick up from the sides of the car. It's absolutely essential to find the right balance between FOV and horizontal offset. Think of the horizontal offset as shifting your seat forward or backward. Unlike FOV, it doesn't affect your speed perception or lateral awareness. It only changes how close or far the car looks in your view. With some experimenting, you'll find that similar visuals can be achieved with vastly different combinations of field of view and horizontal offset. The key is finding the sweet spot that matches your driving style and the nature of the track you're racing on. Just a quick reminder, this is a highly personal setting. What works for us might not necessarily work for you. That's why it's crucial to start experimenting right from the beginning. Try out different views, FOVs, and offsets until you find the one that helps you perform at your best behind the wheel. Field of view in particular plays a major role in how you perceive speed and car rotation. When you increase the FOV, everything appears further away. That creates a different sense of speed and reduces your feeling of rotation, because with more visual area packed into your screen, your eyes pick up less of the subtle distance and rotation shifts. On the flip side, if you lower the FOV, you'll feel more rotation and get the impression the car is moving faster. But remember, we're talking about perception here. Whether the car is understeering, oversteering, or locking up, those dynamics don't actually change. What does change is your ability to read what's happening. A sharper perception of vehicle behavior allows you to react sooner and drive with more precision. Don't expect to magically gain half a second per lap just by adjusting the FOV, but even a small improvement is worth it if it gives you better awareness of what's happening around you. Of course, every setup comes with pros and cons. A wide FOV gives you better peripheral vision, which can be a huge help in close racing, especially when things get tight. But if it's too wide, it can distort depth perception, making it harder to judge distances and execute precise moves. That's exactly why testing is so important. There's no universal rule, only what works best for you. Now let's talk about lateral offset. This one's pretty straightforward. It simply shifts your camera left or right. Our advice? Keep it as centered as possible. Personally, we're not fans of the default side TV cam because it's too far off center. But once you recenter it, it really helps with track visibility, depth judgment, and speed perception. That's our preference. But again, you should experiment and find the setup that helps you drive better. Horizontal offset, on the other hand, controls how far forward or backward the camera is positioned. In our experience, there's no real advantage to pulling the view too far back. Once you start seeing the helmet or the rear bulkhead of the cockpit, you lose focus on the road. The sweet spot, in our opinion, is to only see the wheel. or at most, half the wheel, just like in our configuration. The goal is to visually align your real-world wheel with the in-game one, creating that sense of physical continuity. In our rig setup, the virtual wheel isn't even visible. We've got our real wheel front and center, and the virtual cockpit starts right behind it. That adds to the immersion and helps a ton with spatial awareness and speed perception. If you pull the horizontal offset too far back, you'll notice an annoying line cutting across the screen. The fix is simple, just adjust the near clip plane. A small tweak there, and that line disappears, cleaning up your view and restoring visual clarity. So if you like running a rearward view and that issue pops up, now you know how to solve it. Lastly, let's break down vertical offset. This setting moves your camera up or down. Lowering it feels like dropping your seat physically. The wheel appears closer to eye level, and the whole view gets lower and more compressed. That can actually help you read the road surface better, especially up close. But be careful, if your vertical offset is too low, you might struggle to judge where your wheels are placed. And once again, the only real way to figure it out is to test. Crank it up, drop it down, try it in the middle, do a few laps and ask yourself how it feels. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, only what makes you drive better. And we'll say it again, test, test, test. Whenever you change your camera settings, make sure to put in a few solid laps. 2 corners aren't enough to say, I don't like this. It takes time. Do at least 4, 5, 6, even 7 laps to get used to the new perspective and understand how it affects your perception of speed, depth, and accuracy at corner apexes. Give this phase the attention it deserves. Don't underestimate the impact of your camera setup. It's your visual link to the car, and it's an integral part of how you drive. Especially in simulators, the view you choose is a game-changing component. Let's talk now about the camera angle. Increasing it will tilt the camera upwards, like lifting your head to look higher. This is different from vertical offset, which moves the whole camera block up or down. To make a real-world comparison, vertical offset is like raising or lowering your seat while keeping your head level, while camera angle is like nodding your head up or down. Again, testing is key here. Find the angle that feels most natural to your eyes, the one your visual instinct prefers. Now onto the mirror angle. This one's pretty straightforward. Increase or decrease the value, and it adjusts the height of the side mirrors in your view. It only makes sense to adjust this if you're using a wide enough FOV to actually see the mirrors. If you're running a tight, zoomed-in view where the mirrors are out of frame, then this setting won't matter. Next, let's cover 2 parameters that often get ignored: camera shake and camera movement. If you're using the side TV cam, you'll notice the movement setting is disabled. But with the classic TV cam, it becomes available. Our strong recommendation is to set both of these to 0. These are highly intrusive effects that add visual noise to your driving experience. Sure, they might enhance immersion and make things look more dramatic, but they offer no real advantage. On the contrary, they can slow you down. That's because both shake and movement respond to the car's pitch and roll. When you accelerate and weight shifts to the rear, the camera leans back. Under braking, it tilts forward. During quick direction changes, it swings side to side. All of this motion adds visual clutter that only distracts you. For us, stability is everything. We want a crisp, clean, locked-in view. Personally, we keep these settings at a minimum, usually a value of 3, but honestly, 0 would be just as good. It's a choice that helps eliminate subconscious distractions and keeps your focus laser sharp on what the car is doing at every moment. Now let's tackle a hot topic: cockpit view. First, let's get one thing straight. For years, people have been saying stuff like, yeah, but the fast guys all use the TV cam. The reality? A top-tier esports driver will smoke you using any view. That's the truth. The difference between cockpit cam and TV cam, if there even is one, is about 1/10 of a second. A skilled driver, once dialed in, will post the same lap times with either. And if they only used cockpit view, they might be off by a few thousandths, nothing more. We're talking about tiny margins here. Why does this happen? The TV cam sits a bit higher, so it gives you a better visual on where your wheels are placed. That's it, that's the whole difference. The rest? Excuses. When someone says, I'm slower in cockpit view, what they're really saying is they haven't adapted yet. We've tested all of this over 7 years of professional work. What we're saying isn't opinion, it's backed by real testing. We don't mean to sound cocky, but we're simply sharing data-based insights. So, if you think switching your view is going to shave off half a second per lap, sorry to say, it just doesn't work that way. If anything's unclear, just drop a comment below and we'll get back to you. Seriously though, we've kind of had enough of hearing the same excuses over and over. I can't turn off ABS because my pedals aren't great. I'm not fast because I use a different camera view. My cat's walking across the rig. There's construction outside. Come on, let's be honest. The things that actually make a difference on track are something else entirely. Performance comes from work, not from excuses. Let's stay focused and dive back into cockpit view. With the right tweaks, you can customize it with real precision. There are 2 more settings worth exploring. The first is the look to apex limit. This feature simulates the natural head and eye movement drivers make when turning into a corner. The higher you set the value, the more the camera rotates toward the apex as you steer. The lower the value, the more fixed the view remains. At 0, the camera stays completely static. If you're driving in cockpit view, we recommend turning this feature on, but don't overdo it. If the value is too high, the camera will swing around too much and become a distraction. A medium-low setting works better. We found that values around 3, 4, 5, or 6 offer a nice balance. Anything beyond that tends to feel excessive. Again, as with everything else, FOV, horizontal and vertical offset, it's all about testing and finding what feels right for you. The other adjustable parameter is the halo column. This one's simple. Toggle it on to see the halo pillar, off to remove it. It's especially useful if you find the pillar sitting right in the middle of your line of sight. Removing it can clean up your view and reduce visual clutter. Now, before we wrap up, we want to leave you with one key message. The new F1 game just dropped, so now is the perfect time to dial in your ideal driving view. Don't rush through this step. It can dramatically change how you experience the track, your perception of speed, car rotation, and distance. Don't assume the view you've always used is still the best one. Set aside a couple of hours, that's all you need, and run some focus tests. Start with the default TV cam. Pay attention to how well you can judge distances. Do 5 or 6 laps, tweak a few settings, run more laps, then switch to the TV side cam, recenter it, do a few laps again, adjust, and keep testing. Finally, give cockpit view a proper shot and really figure out how it feels. The only views we'd honestly recommend staying away from are bumper cam, chase cam, and similar third-person perspectives. They're just not suitable for proper sim racing. The only exception might be the elevated bumper cam, which can be usable in certain contexts. But for everything else, if it's an external camera, it's not the real deal. That's not sim racing. Alright, top driver, that's a wrap for this video. We hope this helped you dial in the perfect view for your style and that it genuinely helps you level up your performance on track. Until next time, stay sharp and when in doubt, flat out. See you on track, top driver.